Hello everybody, The Music Fan is back, bringing smiles to the faces, knowledge to the people, and most importantly, music to the masses. And now that we are a little over halfway through the year, I wanted to take a step back and look at my 10 favorite albums of 2019 so far. Yes, I've listened to about 60 or 70 albums so far, pretty good pace, but I definitely can do better. I'm definitely going to hit that 100 mark pretty easily, but I want to go a little bit further this time, so hopefully I'll be able to get there. But yes, we got a little under 6 months left of not just this year, but of the decade. So this is the final push for some great music. Hopefully we'll get some great albums that will not only hit my favorite albums of the year, but maybe even make my top 100 of the decade. More on that at a different time. Before I got to this video, I wanted to make sure that I reviewed every single album from June that I want to get to before making my final decision. I will say this year, there aren't many albums that are head over heels over everyone else just yet. I am excited for a lot that is in July and August and September, and I can definitely see a lot of these albums coming out soon that could easily make its way into the top 10. That being said, there are some solid albums in my top 10, just nothing that is necessarily solidified in its place. You could definitely see at the end of the year all 10 of these not even making the top 10. And for that reason alone, I want to throw up 5 more that easily could have made a place in the top 10, but just missed. So right off the bat, we have the new Tom York album, Anima. We have the Two Door Cinema Club album, False Alarm. The Tyler, the Creator album, Igor. The Bringing the Horizon album, Ammo. And the Bastille album, Doom Days. All great albums on their own, and I've reviewed every single one of them. So if you want my thoughts and feelings on those albums, take a look at my RU-ins. That way you can get the full idea. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about each of these 10 albums, and the only order that I'm doing it in is just the order that they were released this year. Right off the bat, we have Soen's newest album titled Lotus, a phenomenal metal album, and one that stands out to me because of its diversity. The last album, Lycaea, very solid album, but one that took so long for me to get into. It took at least 4 or 5 listens for me to feel like it was a solid album. The problem was it was just not enough diversity on there. This is not the case on Lotus. Yes, you get a lot of very similar sounding songs like Opponent, Lascivious, but there's also some that just stand out on its own. Martyrs, a phenomenal, energetic song, and one of the best singles that they've had in a very long time. But you also get some more subdued songs like Lotus and River that just add such a breath of fresh air for this album and for this band. Easily one of my favorite metal albums of the year. Next we have Snarky Puppy's newest album, Immigrants. Is it their best album to date? No, I have at least 3 or 4 that are easily above this album, but there is still a lot of solid songs on here. Yes, you get some more standard songs like Bad Kids to the Back, but it's still one of their best singles that they have dropped in their career, and easily one of my favorite songs of the year. It is so catchy, the layering is great, the drum work between the 3 drummers is phenomenal, and just wait for that ending trading solos with all 3 drummers, just absolutely fantastic. You also get a great closer in Even Us, a slow burn of a song, an 8-minute song where you don't get most of the band until halfway through, but still a very solid and very slow burn. And that's what a lot of this album is, it's just a very slow burn. Whether it's Zave, or Coven, or Bigly Strictness, or Chunks, all these songs, longer songs, but ones that build so well that just leave you wanting more. Next up, we have the American Football LP3 by American Football. My first dive into this band, but I came away pleasantly surprised. I thought that the production was pristine, the guitar parts were so layered and interesting. A lot of the songs dealing with midlife crisis and the more sedated natures of marriage after all the honeymoon phases have worn off and you feel like you're just in the same cycle over and over again. I found a lot of those lyrics to be very interesting, and the arrangements themselves very meditative and very layered. Yes, there are some repetitive songs like I Can't Feel You, but for every song like that, there is a song like Silhouettes, or Every Wave to Ever Rise, Uncomfortably Numb, or Doom in Full Bloom. Every single one of those songs, absolutely fantastic. A phenomenal album just to put on and just go in a trance. It is just superbly meditative, and Hayley Williams' feature on Uncomfortably Numb, fantastic. Next, we have Billie Eilish's debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? The darkest pop album I've heard in a very long time, and just a phenomenal debut album. What I love about it is there's so much time and effort put into a lot of these songs, and the production from her brother is phenomenal. There are a lot of just little tinges that you may miss the first time around, but if you hear it the second time, you're like, oh my god, that's really, really cool. A lot of like bass boost ideas that fit perfectly. On a song like Zanny, where it's this very loud song in the verse, but the chorus is a little bit more modern with those bass boosts. I also just really enjoy the minimalist nature of a lot of these songs, like Zanny, or When the Party's Over, with just this haunting a cappella arrangement, or even Bury a Friend that feels a little bit like something off of Jesus, but childish, but haunting, and just really fun. And even like the ending parts where it gets a little bit more stripped down and a little bit more emotional, like Listen Before I Go and I Love You, just very heartbreaking songs. And to have this depth from a 17-year-old, I find pretty impressive. Easily one of the best pop albums I've heard in a very long time, and I hope that you've listened to it because it is definitely worth your time. Next, we have Devin Townsend with Empath, the most motivational and uplifting metal album I've heard in ages. This is just over the top and hits you on the head with just do better, feel better. We're all part of this universe and we're all only one small part, so don't sweat the small stuff. All of this just culminating into a fantastic and honestly tiring journey. This album is over an hour's length of material. I believe it's like 70 minutes plus. And after you get through the first portion of songs, you get to the last song that's 23 minutes called Singularity, and it's phenomenal. This album has just so much working for it, so much bombasticness. Yes, it doesn't always work. There are some duds on here, but overall the journey is one to be experienced if you are a metal fan. If you are a life metal fan, I guess is the best way of putting it. And no, I don't agree with Anthony Fantano. I don't think that the production is that bad. It's over the top, but that's what his style is. And for the first time, I can say that I truly like a Devin Townsend album. Next up, we have Periphery with the newest album, Periphery for Hail Stand. This is their first album under their own label that they have recorded and produced themselves, and it's done wonders. This album is hugely diverse and takes a lot of risks. The fact that you have a 16-minute song as your first song in Reptile is a huge experiment and a huge risk, but it pays off so well. Garden in the Bones, one of my favorite songs by them, and one of their ones that feels kind of same to what they've done, but it just feels phenomenal to listen to all the time. You get a closer like Satellites, my favorite song so far this year, a 9-minute track that blows Bloom from the previous album out of the water. It is Sotelo's crowning achievement in his vocals, and there's a lot of great vocals on this album too, whether it's Blood Eagle or Church Burner. There's a lot of really interesting and just like kind of dissonant melodies on here that just shows how well Sotelo can do. And you get songs that are just all over the place. More standard songs like Garden in the Bones, but something feels a little bit more like A Day to Remember in It's Only Smiles, or a song that's very reminiscent of Waking the Fallen era Avenged Sevenfold with Sentient Glow. You get something a little bit more electronic and more industrial like Crush. A phenomenally diverse album that has a couple of flaws here and there, but still, if you are a Periphery fan, if you're a metal fan, if you're a gent fan, this is totally up your alley. Next we have Anderson .Paak with Ventura. This might be a follow-up and I guess, leftover work from Oxnard from last year, but this is still a phenomenal R&B, soul, jazz album. There's a lot of great songs on here, like Come Home, that features Andre 3000 with a phenomenal rap verse. You have Make It Better with Smokey Robinson. You get a lot of really cool features on here, like Reaching Too Much with Law Hathaway, or Jet Black featuring Brandy. Yes, the beginning half of the album is much better than the latter half, but it's still overall really solid. Songs like King James, or even What Can We Do, which features a really nice verse with Nate Dogg that people were able to dig up and they were able to contribute to this album. A very solid R&B, jazzy album that is just a beautiful listen. Next we have Starbomb with Starbomb 3, The Triforce. Their newest and maybe last album, but if it is their last album, it is their best album. Aaron, Dan, and Ninja Brian team up with Tupperware Remix Party like Ninja Sharks Party did last year, and it's to incredible results because these arrangements are more diverse and fully fleshed out, giving these songs that have like ridiculous ideas a little bit more musical. I love a lot of these. A Boy in His Boat, Filling in the Name, Welcome to the Mario Party, Blowing the Payload, all hilarious. Donkey Kong Jr. is a lot of fun. It's really stupid as well, but it's fun. And This Song Sucks is absolutely meta, but really, really fun to listen to. Overall, their best crop of songs that they have done. I hope it's not their last one, but if it is, they went out on top. Next, we have Baroness with Golden Grey. We've talked about the production on here, and it's not great all the time, but if you take that with a grain of salt, you have a really, really solid list of songs that work very fast-paced to something more subdued and then back to fast-paced and heavy-hitting. It kind of reminds me of a mixture of like Mastodon with Manchester Orchestra or even Fleet Foxes. This is a great mix and one that had just hit me from the get-go. A lot of really interesting arrangements, a lot of really interesting experimentations. John Baisley knows what he is doing, and it shows just how much he loves the music that he's creating. It would be much higher if the production was a little bit better, but still a really worthwhile listen in terms of a metal album. And finally, Bruce Springsteen with Western Stars. I'm not going to give you that information as to why it's in the top 10 just yet, because I'm reviewing it on Sunday. So we're going to wait until then. But until then, let me know what your favorite albums from 2019 are so far. Let me know what other albums you would like me to review. Share this with your friends, and most importantly, just subscribe to my channel so you can watch more videos like these and help my channel grow into something bigger and better. So yes, I'm going to be reviewing that on Sunday, but I hope that you've at least listened to a couple of these albums, and if you haven't, take the time to. There's a lot of really great albums out here that I have given you. I have plenty of albums that I'm going to be listening to in July, August, and September that I'm really excited about, so much so that I may be starting a new series. We're going to hold off just for now until I get everything on track, but there may be a new series coming out soon, so keep your eyes peeled. But until then, this is The Music Fan, and I'm signing off.